Hello, hello. Can you hear me? All good. So let's get started. You want to try your mic as well? You
Let me
want to?
try. Yeah, it's working.
Yes, it's working.
All
Yes.
good. Loud and clear. Well, thanks everyone for potentially skipping lunch, attending this session. We will try not to disappoint you. So my name is Thibaut Glorieux. I am a sales rep at Creatio, a global vendor of one platform to automate CRM and workflow with no code and a maximum level of freedom. Today I have the chance to be accompanied by my colleagues Mathieu and Kate, who will be, so Mathieu is another rep at Creatio, and Kate is our pre-sales engineer for the French market. So today we will have the chance to be discussing for the next 30, 40 minutes how we can accelerate workflow and CRM automation via a no-code approach, and more specifically in a business context. Now let's position ourselves as customers. We all buy products, we all buy services from tons of companies, some more than others even. So as a customer, I think we can all relate that we will all give our love, our loyalty and trust to those companies who can essentially deliver an elegant and touchless experience. And massive transformations are happening in all industries, even the most traditional ones. Think, for example, of the FinServe industry. We can nowadays, of course, download an application, open up a bank account, download all the necessary ID documents, and complete all sorts of financial transactions just in a seamless and safe manner. We can also, in real estate, complete property tours, buying, selling homes online. Then you can sign all those agreements electronically nowadays. So you never need to leave the comfort of your home. You can also even try new clothes using mobile apps. In this case, I think it's written a black mini dress. I'm not the one who did the slides. You can also get, oh, can you hear me? Yeah. You can also get your degrees online, attend web conferences, events, and so forth. I think the key message here, you understood that essentially it's that every industry, even the most traditional ones, they all become technology industries, with digital workflows driving the key change and the differentiation for your business. And that's really the key message here. Now, talking about these digital workflows, and comparing them with more traditional processes, digital workflows allow you to immediately understand who you're dealing with, who is that customer reaching out to our post-sales department, who is that stakeholder logging a ticket or contacting our company. It allows you to engage them via the channel of their choice. Not everybody wants to receive emails. I personally, outside of work, never read my emails. So I prefer that somebody calls me, or I use social medias, for example. Digital workflows allow you also to provide customers with this hyper-personalized digital experience, and of course, in a, maybe most importantly, in a coordinated and consistent manner. There is nothing worse than, you reach out to, as a customer, you reach out to a company and it takes them 10 minutes to understand who you are, asking lots of questions, your birthday, and so forth. And then they seem to somehow struggle finding previous interactions, your background, and all of that. And sometimes you talk to someone in the company and then you reach out 2 days later and somehow it seems that they have no record of those interactions and you need to repeat yourself. And that's exactly the kind of frustrations you find, of course, in more traditional processes, which are scripted, they are non-personalized, they are very heavy, frustrating processes, right? The key message here is that all those customers, essentially, who have experienced digital workflows, they are never turning back. They become raving fans of your company and the new brand. Now, of course, as the demand for automation is growing, we need technical resources to digitize all these workflows. Looking at research studies, we know that 500 million new applications will need to be developed in the coming years in the business context. So that's a lot of applications. Now, looking at the global population of technical developers, we know that there are about 25 million of them, and this figure is growing very slowly at about 4% a year. So taking into consideration how busy all these developers are, maintaining essentially old legacy systems, we can clearly see that the delivery capacity is very limited. And we're not talking, I want to go back on this figure, the 500 million new applications. We're not talking only about developing applications to look cool, right? We're talking about your ability as a business to grow, thrive, and simply compete with your established competition, but also all these smaller digital native players coming with very disruptive economic models sometimes. Of course, in the context of the NoCode Summit today, we have plenty of solutions and answers to give you. One of them will be to essentially empower knowledge workers. There are 1.7 billion of them in companies. Knowledge workers, who they are? Knowledge workers are people like me. Essentially, we have no technical background, we have no coding skills, but we know our processes very well because we live in them, essentially. So what if you could, if you had the freedom, essentially, to empower those 1.7 billion knowledge workers to build their own applications without any special skills or any coding skills? They will just need to complete a very basic training program to get familiar with the no-code approach. They will always need the help, of course, of IT for some projects, but at an individual level, the idea is that you do not need always to reach out and overload or stretch IT staff. So wouldn't it be a good way to engage your customers, your partners, and employees in a whole new way if you were able to, again, empower those knowledge workers to basically, with a shortcut between a great business idea that they have every day and those directly functional applications, because there are so many ideas that nowadays are lost. You wake up in the morning and you get frustrated about a process, or you see your customers are frustrated because you do not provide them with the relevant, with the experience that you want to give them. But then you move on with your life as a business worker, and those problems and challenges are never really addressed. If they become big enough, maybe you reach out to the IT team, and then we know how it is. They need to prioritize resources, and they are already overstretched resources. So a lot of projects and a lot of opportunities to innovate are essentially lost nowadays. So adopting such an approach would also help you to increase your organizational capacity and agility, and therefore automate workflows much quicker than your competition, and get this competitive edge. As a matter of fact, this transition has been happening for quite some time. If you think back 20, 30 years ago, in the monolithic architecture, typically you will sit down with a big software house and plan for your needs for the next 6 to 12 months, and then you will spend probably the next couple of years investing and deploying those systems, and maybe after a very long time, you will get the expected value associated to these systems. Of course, this has now transitioned at the beginning of the new century into the software as a service model, where you get an out-of-the-shelf product, which actually does quite a good job because it addresses 70–80% of your needs. But what about those 20–30% left, right? Well, guess what? It's very unlikely that you will be able to address these needs with out-of-the-shelf solutions. You always need to keep investing money and time into adjusting those platforms or investing in custom development. Now this has transitioned over the last few years into the composable no-code architecture, where essentially the philosophy, as you know, is everyone is a developer and everyone can build their own applications and digitize their own daily tasks and workflows. Now, quoting Gartner, actually, we have a couple of very interesting figures here, which I think showcase the benefits of a no-code composable architecture. This year, 60% of organizations will seek composability in new application investments, and I think this figure is growing very quickly. By the end of next year, I think it's expected to be 80%, so it's growing very, very quickly. Also, in terms, of course, of the speed of new features implementation, those companies, those organizations that have adopted an intelligent composable approach will outpace their competition by 80%. Quoting other reports from Gartner's, depending on the nature of the project, sometimes the time to value for projects can be divided by 4 to 10 times. So it gives you, again, in a business context, a huge competitive advantage. And last but not least, those CIOs at high composability enterprises, they expect their company to grow twice as fast as their competitors who did not adopt, who haven't adopted yet such a no-code composable approach. Okay, it's loading. So a composable architecture is essentially a software architecture that consists of package capabilities, and we are pretty much used to this model again because of the SaaS model and the SaaS solutions that we've been using for the last 20 years. The key difference here between the SaaS model and the new era of no-code composable architecture is that in a no-code architecture, every element at their tiniest core level, they are all pluggable into your existing architecture using APIs or using simply existing connectors that we have developed over the years, and we have hundreds of them in the case of Creatio. They are all available on the marketplace. These components, they are all replaceable. If they no longer do the job or you find a better alternative, you can just remove that piece and replace it with a better application or a microservice. They are scalable, so they can answer the needs of any business size, and they can be expanded. So let's say you come up with a new product range or a new line of services, or just you acquire, you merge with different companies, or just you're changing the structure of your company as part of the ongoing structural changes that companies are operating. You can do that with a no-code composable architecture much more easily, cost-effectively, and quickly. If we look at the elements of a composable no-code architecture, we see that At the tiniest, smallest level, we start with components. So that's really where you will ask yourself questions. Okay, how many systems do we have in the organization? Let's say you have 20, 30 systems. From our experience, usually customers underestimate how many systems they're using, how many systems their business users are jumping in and out to find the relevant information. Sometimes they need to spend a lot of time consolidating this data. And guess what they do is usually they open an Excel sheet and they have all this data in an Excel sheet. Or they need to reach out to a colleague because they do not have access to some systems, which is even worse, right? Because it's disaligning the teams essentially. So the first step is to identify and collect all these data points and consolidate them into components. And then using those components and putting them together, you will build blocks or microservices, which are really the starts of the composability and reusability approach. And combining those blocks, you will build applications. And if you want to go much further into your no-code journey, combining those applications, you will get products or even bundles of products. And essentially, in the case of our company, Creatio, this is essentially what we did. Creatio, at its core, and it's the crown jewel of the company, we are a no-code composable automation platform. And we've used that platform to build hundreds of products, core products or vertical products. So for example, we have built a CRM from this no-code composable architecture. A CRM is the bundle. It's a bundle of marketing, sales, and service products, which are composed essentially of different applications. And it keeps growing because we are developing new applications, our customers are developing applications, and we have hundreds of partners nowadays developing and contributing to this marketplace of applications. So that's a key differentiator with other CRM vendors, is that essentially our history is not the same. We've created our CRM in a composable approach, when other CRM vendors, they basically grew by acquiring new solutions and then merging them into their portfolio of solutions. So they are never really on the same database. They are never really the same system when Creatio is one platform. In addition to the core capabilities, we have developed full-fledged composable architecture, full-fledged composable vertical solutions. So let's say that you're in the FinServ industry. Well, we have developed workflows that you can use and applications that you can use straight away to onboard your customers. You may be interested in lending processes if you're a credit organization. And as part of this process, you need to score the customer, you need to identify them, collect all sorts of documents, well, we can address all of that as part of those specific industry-specific solutions. If you're into manufacturing, of course, your business challenges will be completely different. Your focus will be more on the supply chain, right? So everything related to your inventory, managing the activities in your warehouses, and the production lifecycle management in general. So we have also developed specific applications for your needs. I think that the key message here is that if we look at the history, we used to, for the specific industry-specific needs, we used to turn towards very specialist industry-specific solutions, thinking that they are the solution. But in the end, we realized that they are quite rigid, inflexible, and they never quite get you to do everything you want to do. And even if you find the best solution for your industry today, guess what? The needs will change anyway. So The key message here is why not turning into a more generic approach and adopt a no-code composable architecture which can answer your needs today with all these solutions, but which can also evolve over time. Now, these are just a couple of use cases that we have addressed. And for which we already have solutions. So everything related to opportunities, invoices, contracts, even CPQ, you can manage all of that within Creatio. I think it's loading. It gives you a nicer landscape. I don't know if it's in the Pyrenees or the Alps. Okay. So who can build such a composable architecture in your business? Well, anyone essentially who has a logical mind and who knows the processes. We think of business analyst as a good starting point, but it can really be anyone. Of course, at in the smallest part, we discussed it earlier, the components where you need to consolidate all these data entries, then you will always need the help of software developers. The good news for them is that, again, we did a lot of work with our partners to develop applications on the marketplace and connectors, but if you do not find a solution for your needs, then you can use open APIs, REST, SOAP APIs. So it shouldn't be a problem for you. Then you can build blocks using those components. And that's where you want to involve, and it's a big difference with traditional software development. You want to involve already the no-code creators, those business units, the knowledge workers who know their processes super well. They just do not have those technical skills. You want to involve them into the creation of those microservices. You want to maybe also consider involving your customers, which is something you could not do in the past because you had nothing to show, right? There was this phase of where you're collecting the requirements, then you're developing the solution, but it takes some time between the first phase and until you have something to show. In a no-code composable approach, you can directly have ready-to-use concrete applications which you can show internally or with your customers and get this instant feedback. So it's a much more iterative development approach, essentially, and much more collaborative as well. And the magic happens on the next step, where essentially, as you can see, you no longer need software developers to build those applications. You will just use those existing microservices and blocks, and you will essentially build a full-fledged, completely operational applications. And we see that in Creatio on a daily basis. And then, of course, you can even develop products combining many applications. Now, a quick word about Creatio. So, as I said, Creatio is a global vendor of one platform to automate CRM and essentially any workflows with no code and a maximum degree of freedom. It's loading. This surprises a lot of people because, of course, Creatio is, we'll come to that in a minute, it's not as big of a company as some very well established CRM vendors, but we are highly recognized actually by key industry analysts, so such as in the Forrester Waves, the Gartner's Magic Quadrants, or the Nucleus Technology Value Matrix, where Creatio is even named a leader. So we have like really strong capabilities and very in terms of the functional scope, but also in terms of the delivery of the project. Now, if you don't quite like those business reports, you can also choose to directly listen to what our users say about Creatio. There are two interesting metrics that I would like to draw your attention to. The first one is not on the slide here. It's our customer net retention rate, which is 134% at Creatio, meaning that not only our customers stay with Creatio despite the difficult, of course, macroeconomic conditions, but they want to do more business years after years. And it usually starts with a very small project where we need to show the value, and then it starts picking up by itself when the customer and the business realize the value of the solution. You can also look at independent feedback engines, such as a Gartner, Peer Insights, G2, Capterra, and so forth. These are essentially independent feedbacks, verified feedback, so nothing to do with Creatio. And we can see that, again, Creatio taking, for example, Salesforce automation, you will see that Creatio scores much, much higher in terms of capabilities, mobility, but maybe most importantly even, and it's a testimonial of our genuine care to customers, we score much, much higher throughout all the customer journey phases, including the deployment, the need understanding, and the post-sales support and service, which is, again, I think it's the best indicator for me, looking at the post-sales service and support and what customers say about you. So as we said, Creatio, we have all these core CRM products, marketing, sales, and service, which are built on top of one NoCode platform, which we call it Studio Creatio. But essentially, that's what we are. We are a NoCode composable automation platform. I won't get too much into the details of the core capabilities. It's quite straightforward, but you get everything you need from a CRM vendor. But I will take a few moments to develop on the Studio Creatio, so this platform that we've built all our solutions on. Studio Creatio truly embraces to its fullest the notion of composability and reusability in the business. You will find an application hub where you have an overview of all your applications. So we mentioned marketing, sales, and service, but Creatio can be used for many, many use cases, including HR, including finance, including IT, including essentially any workflow for any department. So you will have an overview in this application hub of all your applications. We have NoCode workflow and UI designer, which allows you as a knowledge worker without any special skills to just drag and drop elements and create those workflows or those interfaces to match your preferences. We have hundreds of workflow automation tools, so I won't go too much into the details of those. Quite interestingly, with Creatio, Studio Creatio, you can even build mobile applications using pre-existing resources. We also have embedded AI and machine learning technologies, actually since a long time, much before it became so mainstream. From a commercial standpoint, this is included in the core capabilities of Creatio in the core platform. We'll come to that in a minute. You can also manage all your integrations and APIs, so all the connections with the marketplace. Usually our customers use on average 6 to 7 applications from the marketplace. And this figure is growing years after years as they realize that they have all these amazing resources that they can use straight away and connect to the CRM. And this is just a configuration. You don't need again the help of your developers or integrator. And when you don't have those solutions, you have of course open REST, SOAP APIs and SDKs. In terms of governance as well, of course, when we talk about no-code, we sometimes think that, okay, it's knowledge workers, we give them full power and they can do whatever they want with our systems and data. But as a matter of fact, adopting one platform is a quite a powerful way to coordinate all these activities, in line with all the IT guidelines, policies, and guardrails in the company. So you can monitor that very well in the platform. You can more easily conduct all these audits as well that you may need to do. It's actually, I was talking to a customer last week, and they told me that it was one of their motivations to transition towards such a platform will be that essentially they had lots of issues related to IT shadowing. So, you know, like those business users essentially looking for solutions for themselves, right? And they're like, oh, yes, nice, a free trial online, and they start using those solutions. But as an IT professional, then of course you lose the control on this data. And I'm not saying there is a massive chance that it will lead to regulatory problems for your organization, but it can happen, of course. A couple of examples of applications that can be built with Studio Creatio. We talked about sales automation, community request management, both external stakeholders or internally. Think of just any request internally. Let's say that you want to reach out to IT and ask for a new laptop or access to some softwares. Well, that's a workflow essentially that you can address in Creatio. The landing automation, we talked about that. That's more related to the FinServ industry. Service delivery, product lifecycle management, or even employee lifecycle management. So in the HR context, of course, you want to manage everything in the employee life. So from recruiting candidates to onboarding employees, and training, surveys, annual reviews, and so forth. You can build an application with Creatio and quite easily actually to address all these specific needs. Now our customers, they are the center of everything we do at Creatio. We have thousands of customers across the globe, I think in more than 120 countries nowadays, and they are launching millions of workflows on a daily basis. As you can see, we have very big names in all the industries, but we can also address the needs of mid-size and very small organizations as well. Yes. It's loading. Someone is downloading movies. Okay. So a quick word about our AI and machine learning capabilities. At the moment, we have 6 main machine learning services: classification, regression, scoring, recommendation, similarity, and sequence prediction services. Of course, we've also fully embraced everything generative AI related with natural language processing, Q&A, and AI assisted development. So at the moment, actually, you can, if you want, you could use Creatio combined with ChatGPT prompts to develop an application. So let's say you're an HR person. Maybe you don't even want, you know, to be in this no-code tool. Maybe you just want to tell the tool what is your vision, what are your challenges, and what you need. So in the case of HR, you would say, yeah, build me an application to onboard my employees. I want to make sure that they all receive their computer. I want to make sure that they all conduct their training. If not the case, after 7 days, I want to automatically send a notification to their manager or to the IT team because we need to follow up on that. Well, essentially, Creatio will build an application and an interface for you. So quite interesting. Of course, we are still in the premises of generative AI, and we need to see how things will evolve. But it's very promising technologies. We have a lot of a few AI tools that we've developed internally, but we still remain, of course, open to with connectors to other services, Google, Amazon, and so forth. A few examples of out-of-the-box use cases that you can use straight away in your organization include lead and opportunity scoring. This is the basic. Of course, it's what are the chances that a lead will turn into an opportunity, and an opportunity will turn into a signed contract based on some attributes and data that you have in your CRM. Case or document classification. Of course, when you have a customer reaching out to your contact center or the service team, you don't want to spend too much time trying to figure out where this case should be routed. Sorry. You want the system to do that for you based on, again, the lead attributes, the account, the SLAs may be associated to that account, the workload of your teams. If someone is very busy, like there is no point sending them cases, maybe it's better to send it to another team. We use a lot also next best offer models. So again, based on socio-demographics and some attributes, we will be able to equip your agents with a solution to predict what is the best, what is probably the next best service or product that we should position, or the next content that we should bring in the discussions with our customers. If you want to continue on your no-code customer journey, of course, we have a lot of resources that we can share with you. One very interesting resource is the NoCode playbook, which is a completely vendor-agnostic book that we have developed internally and with some consulting firms. Actually, a lot of big renowned companies are ordering this book for their own needs and to develop, for example, a citizen developer team within their organization. And they are actually not necessarily Creatio customers. So I think it tells a lot about the quality of this book. So this book is essentially a guide, an end-to-end no-code development lifecycle guide. It will help you ignite composable thinking and approach in your organization. And it's very, very practical. So essentially, no-code, when we see it as a shortcut between a great business idea and a directly functional application, we still want, of course, to have this framework that we can follow for any business idea. Using the no-code playbook, you can understand, okay, for this specific use case, maybe the business can do it themselves. For another use case, for sure, we need software developers. And for another business use case, we need maybe a fusion team, a combination of both. We will also clarify the we will also put in place, of course, an entity that we call the Center of Excellence, because no-code, it's all about continuous improvement. It's not about a big bang where, everything is about no-code and 6 months later we forgot about that. It's a complete change in your organization, and you need to follow up and create this framework in your organization. We have lots of new courses and certifications available. A great way to start familiarizing your business teams in the organization could be starting with the NoCode Creator training, which gives you an overview of the NoCode playbook, key concepts, and it's completely available online. Then you have, if you want to carry on, we have a much more complete training and certification called the NoCode Architect. certification and training. So it will empower, it will give basically more advanced practitioners, a good understanding on the practical aspects of designing, launching, enhancing business applications of any complexity. And then there is a big focus, as I mentioned, on this notion of center of excellence, fusion teams. So really a step-by-step approach to adopt a no-code architecture in your organization. Last but not least, next week we are actually organizing our Creatio No-Code Day in Paris. More specifically, it will be held in the Shangri-La Hotel. So yeah, it's a nice venue as well. I think it's the former apartment of Prince Bonaparte, overlooking the Seine River and the Eiffel Tower, and it will be great to spend some time, good cocktails, good food, but most importantly also you will be able to get to meet our CEO and the leadership team, as well as some industry experts around no code, and just fellow businesses who are also in the same stage of their thinking and in terms of their mindset when it comes to no code. So this is happening next Thursday, I believe, October 19th. So I will be there, so I will be happy also to meet you there. You can also stop by our booth. It's B18, I believe. So yes, if you have any questions or you want to learn more about our approach, feel free to stop by. Okay, I don't know if there are any questions or you're all super hungry and you want to go eat. So I think we will wrap things up here then, and I wish you a very, very enjoyable and rewarding day. Okay?